Meet our retiree Tay. Tay spent 35 years as a hardworking warehouse manager. For over 3 decades, he woke up early, packed his lunch, and rain or shine, showed up to work to give his 110% every single day. And he wasn't just devoted to his work, but to his family's well-being as well. During those 3 decades, he and his wife Monica raised 2 healthy kids to adulthood, completely paid off their home, all the while never carrying a single credit card balance past the due date. An achievement anyone should be proud of. Thus, by the time Tay had turned 60, he had accumulated a balance of $1.5 million across all his retirement accounts. Not a flash number, not a number that gets you on the Forbes list, but an amount that Tay and Monica felt proud of and comfortable retiring into. So on his 60th birthday, Tay decided to hang up his work attire, and he and Monica flew to Portugal the following week to fulfill their lifelong dream to see the world together. Well, unfortunately, their dream had to be cut short. Tay found himself needing to go back to work 5 years later. Why? Because his $1.5 million portfolio had dropped to just under $600,000 and it was still going in the wrong direction. He just didn't see a way out unless he started generating income again. So the big question, what happened? Did Tay go all in on crazy meme coins? Did he get scammed? Or did he gamble it away at the blackjack table in Monaco? The truth is none of that. Tay and Monica actually didn't do anything reckless or foolish. No. They followed the general retirement advice that had been given to him by the financial industry for most of his life. But it ended up not being enough. And such stories are not an outlier. It happens more often than we think. And that is what I want to discuss today, so you don't find yourself in the same dire situation. And hi, just in case you're new to the channel and we haven't had the honor of meeting yet, my name is Tay from Financial Tortoise, where we learn to grow our wealth slow and steady. The number one reason why many retirees go broke in the first 5 years. Not managing for sequence of return risk. When we think of portfolio returns, most of us default to average returns. The S&P 500 returned an average 10% per year. The 60/40 portfolio returned an average 7% per year. The international market returned an average of 8% per year. Thus, when we visualize these returns, it is natural to think of them in a linear form, a straight line. However, the market is never linear. The average is derived from a lot of ups and downs, and when it comes to our retirement portfolio, recognizing the risk of these ups and downs, specifically the order of these ups and downs, matter a lot. Let me show you what I mean. Let's imagine 2 retirees. Same age, same $1 million portfolio. Same investment strategy. Same 4% withdrawal rate, $40,000 a year. The only difference? The market gives one of them bad years early on, and the other one good years early on. Retiree A, we'll call him Tay, hits a brutal bear market in year 1 and year 2. His portfolio drops 28%, then another 15%. He's still withdrawing $40,000 each year. He has bills to pay after all, so he's selling shares at the worst possible prices. Retiree B, we'll call her Monica. She catches a strong bull run in her first 3 years. Her portfolio grows. She withdraws the same $40,000, but she's selling far fewer shares to do it. Fast forward 15 years. Both portfolios had the same average annual return over that period. On paper, identical. But Tay's money is nearly gone. Monica's portfolio has grown to over $1.8 million. Same strategy, opposite outcomes, all because of timing. This is called sequence of return risk, and the reason it destroys retirement plans is purely mathematical. When your portfolio drops and you're simultaneously withdrawing money, you're forced to sell more shares at depressed prices. And because those shares are gone forever when you sell, they cannot recover when the market eventually turns around. You have permanently reduced the engine that was supposed to power the next 30 years of your life. The famous Trinity study, conducted in 1998 by 3 professors at Trinity University, found that a 4% withdrawal rate succeeded 96% of the time when tested against historical data. That number gets quoted everywhere. But what almost nobody quotes is the part that follows it. The researchers found that the failures, that 4%, were not evenly distributed across scenarios. Almost all of them happened when poor market returns struck in the first 5 to 10 years of retirement. The portfolio that survived those early years went on to thrive for decades. The ones that didn't make it. The bottom line is this. We cannot control the market, but we can control our plan. So if you want to give your portfolio the greatest chance for survival, make sure you factor in the sequence of return risk, especially in the first 5 years of your retirement. The number 2 reason why so many retirees go broke in the first 5 years. Spending too much too soon. Do you remember your honeymoon phase? I sure do. Just married, everything feels new, exciting, and full of possibilities. You're not thinking about budgets or spreadsheets. You're only thinking about how good life is right now and how much better it is only going to get. Well, a well-deserved retirement feels exactly the same way. After decades of alarm clocks, packed lunches, and deferred dreams, retirement arrives and it feels like a permanent honeymoon. And so, people spend, generously and joyfully, on travel they always promise themselves, the home renovation they keep pushing back, and the grandkids they want to spoil. And why not? Life is short, and that is the whole point of retirement, right? To enjoy every minute of it. Well, the problem is the dreaded M word, the math. Research from JP Morgan on retirement spending patterns shows that retirees consistently spend the most in the earliest years of retirement, and that spending gradually declines as they age. While researchers call the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years, the energy and the appetite for spending naturally decreases over time. But most retirement plans are built around a flat, fixed withdrawal rate, a single number drawn consistently year after year, regardless of what is actually happening. So when a retiree pulls $90,000 in year one against a plan that assumes $60,000, the plan doesn't bend, the portfolio does. And here's what makes this mistake so dangerous. It rarely happens in isolation. The overspending in year one and year two often lands at exactly the same moment the market may be delivering those early losses we just talked about. You're withdrawing more than planned from a portfolio that may already be worth less than you expected. That combination, in that window, is where retirement plans quietly begin to break. The fix here is not to stop spending. That doesn't make sense for most people. The fix here is to plan for the honeymoon phase. Recognize that there is going to be some pent-up overspending immediately following retirement. So build that cushion into your strategy. In that note, where and how to build that cushion? Let's cover that next. The number 3 reason why so many retirees go broke in the first 5 years. Not holding enough cash. Essentially, not building a big enough cash cushion. So far, we discussed sequence risk and overspending risk, and they're legitimate, dangerous risks. However, they're not risks that are out of our control. We can mitigate their impact as long as we have enough cold, hard cash. How can cold, hard cash cushion us against these risks? Let me show you. When the market drops, and at some point it will, if you have enough cash runway, instead of being forced to sell your investments at the worst possible time, you can draw from your cash cushion instead. What this allows for is for your portfolio to stay intact, especially through this brutal time. And when the market eventually recovers, which historically it always has, your investments are still there to participate in that recovery. Similarly, if you want to splurge a bit immediately following your retirement, when you have enough cash, you can do so without touching your portfolio at all. The honeymoon phase we talked about earlier becomes far less dangerous when it's funded by cash rather than by selling investments. So how much cash should we hold? The general guidance for retirees is 3 to 5 years of living expenses held in liquid cash. And where to hold them? The 2 best locations that I consider for cash are either high-yield savings accounts or a money market fund. Both of these are relatively safe and provide easy accessibility while earning a modest return. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, that cash sitting in your savings account is money that is not working. And you're not wrong. In a bull market, watching 5 years of expenses earn 3% while your portfolio earns 15% feels like a missed opportunity. But you have to recognize what that cash is buying you besides market returns. Something I think way more important, especially when you're near or in retirement. It buys you cushion. It buys you additional runway. It buys you a peace of mind because that pile of cash will ensure that you will successfully survive through sequence risk as well as the high spend honeymoon period. The takeaway here is simple. Before you retire, build your cash cushion. 3 to 5 years of living expenses, separate from your investment portfolio, sitting somewhere safe and accessible. The number 4 reason why many retirees go broke in the first 5 years. Claiming Social Security too early. The Social Security Administration allows Americans to begin claiming benefits as early as age 62. Thus, millions of people do exactly that. According to SSA data, roughly 35% of Americans claim at the earliest possible age. Now, what most of them do not fully appreciate is what that decision costs them over the course of their retirement. And the stakes here are higher than most people realize. For one, for the majority of Americans, it is likely the only guaranteed inflation-adjusted income they'll receive for the rest of their lives. Pensions, which once provided the same kind of stability, have largely disappeared from the private sector. What replaced them are 401ks and IRAs, which are subject to market swings, sequence risk, and the spending mistakes we just talked about. And 2, when you run the numbers, the difference between claiming early and claiming later can be enormous. For example, if your full retirement age is 67, which it is for anyone born in 1960 or later, claiming at 62 permanently reduces your monthly benefit by approximately 30% every month for the rest of your life. On the other end, delay past 67 and your benefit grows by 8% for every year you wait, up to age 70. So the difference between claiming at 62 versus waiting until 70 can mean 50 to 60% more income every single month for life. Let's put some real dollars to that. On an average benefit around $2,000 a month at 67, claiming at 62 drops that to roughly $1,400. Waiting until 70 pushes it to around $2,500. That is over $1,000 more per month, every month, for as long as you live. And even the break-even math strongly favors waiting. The age at which delaying pays off is typically around 80 years old. Given that the average American who reaches 65 today can expect to live well past 85, the odds are in your favor if you can afford to wait. Bottom line, deciding when to claim Social Security is one of the most consequential financial decisions most people will ever make. But sadly, most people make it without ever running the numbers. So let me make that easy for you. To help you really understand the impact of your timing, I built a free Social Security timing analyzer. You plug in your estimated monthly benefit and your life expectancy, and it shows you side by side exactly what you would collect claiming at 62, 67, and 70, including your break-even age. It is my free gift to you for taking your precious time to admire my ridiculously amazing hair for this long. I'll have the link to download in the description below. And while we're on the topic of tools and resources, if you really want to get your finances and retirement right, consider joining the Financial Tortoise community, a private membership community for professionals who are serious about building wealth the right way, slow and steady. If that sounds like your kind of community, we would love to have you. However, in order to uphold the highest quality experience, I only open enrollment a few times a year. So if you want to be the first to know when doors open next, join the waitlist at financialtortoise.com/community. I'll have the link in the description below. The number 5 reason why so many retirees go broke in the first 5 years. Continually supporting adult children. Yes, we all love our children. That's the reason why we sacrifice so much for them. It is the reason we show up to work year after year, decade after decade. Everything we built, in some way, we built with them in mind. But that love, if left unchecked in retirement, can become one of the quietest threats to your financial survival. A 2023 Bankrate survey found that 68% of parents said they have sacrificed their own financial security for their adult children. And for many, this does not stop at retirement. Studies show that a significant number of retirees continue financially supporting their adult children well into their own retirement years, helping with rent, co-signing loans, covering unexpected bills. Dr. Thomas Stanley from The Millionaire Next Door called this the economic outpatient care, the ongoing financial support that flows from parents to adult children. But do you know what the main takeaway from his finding was? The fact that the more financial support adult children receive from their parents, the less wealth they accumulated on their own. The assistance that was meant to help them often made them less equipped to help themselves. And when we step back and think about it, it makes sense, right? There's a reason why the saying, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime, has endured for centuries. Because the greatest gift you can give to your children is not the fish. It is the confidence, the resilience, and the resourcefulness that can come from learning to catch it themselves. Every time we step in too quickly, we quietly rob them of that chance. Additionally, we also have to recognize that the means we have today may not be the means we have tomorrow. Your retirement portfolio has one job: to keep you financially independent for the rest of your life. And every dollar that leaves that portfolio to support an adult child is a dollar that cannot fund your healthcare, your living expenses, or your own security in the years when you'll need it most. And here is a painful irony. If you deplete your retirement supporting your children today, you may end up financially dependent on those same children 10 to 15 years from now. The burden you're trying to spare them ends up back on their shoulders anyway, just at a time when neither of you is in a position to carry it well. Bottom line, recognize that protecting your retirement, preserving your portfolio is not selfish. It actually might be one of the most generous things you can do for your family in the long run. Thank you guys for watching the theme of smart retirement. If you'd like to learn the most optimal order to withdraw money in retirement, please check out my video here. Until next time, all the best.